Welcome back to the Profitable Mindset Podcast, everybody. Today we're talking about saving money, but with a twist.
A twist?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at how to do it without giving up all the things that we enjoy in life.
Right.
Especially for traders and investors whose, income can be unpredictable.
Absolutely. And it's a very common misconception that saving means deprivation.
Right.
We're going to unpack that today, how to build wealth while still living a good life.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this book, How to Save More Without Sacrificing Your Lifestyle.
Yep.
It really emphasizes the importance of this idea of your financial why.
Yes.
Why is that so important especially for people in trading and investing?
Well, your financial why is your anchor.
Okay.
It's the deep reason behind why you want to save.
Okay.
Why you want to invest. And this could be anything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be to have the freedom to work for yourself.
Right.
It could be to just build a safety net in case the market tanks or, for whatever reason.
So it's about having like that North Star
Exactly.
that's guiding your decisions.
Yeah.
Especially in a world where you could have a winning month one month and a losing month another month.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is traders sort of exist in this in-between space.
Yeah.
I mean, they're drawn to the excitement.
Yeah.
And they're drawn to the potential of big wins.
Yeah.
But then they also have to have the discipline to manage risk.
Right.
Effectively. So they're kind of walking this tightrope between being a spender and an investor.
That push and pull between like wanting to enjoy, the fruits of your labor.
Right.
But also like wanting to plan for the future.
Yeah, exactly.
That's such a good point. And this book also mentions something called a trader's balance sheet.
Yes.
And it just sounds like a helpful tool.
Well, it is. It's a way to visualize the different forces at play in your financial life. So, imagine a balance scale.
Okay.
Right. And on one side, you have your assets.
Okay.
Savings, investments, any trading accounts you have. And then those are fueling your life.
Right.
On the other side of the scale, you have liabilities.
Yeah.
And that's mostly spending. And
Yeah.
so the trader's balance sheet just helps you see how the way you're spending is impacting your overall financial health.
It's a really good visual way to like grasp that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of spending, the book talks about adopting a cash flow mindset.
Yeah.
What does that look like in real life?
So it really comes down to being intentional. Every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out has a purpose.
Yeah.
You're very aware of where your money is going and why. And that awareness is really the foundation for building a solid financial life.
Right. Especially when you have like inconsistent income coming in.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. So how would someone who has an inconsistent income track their cash flow?
Meticulous record keeping is essential. Okay. You have to track every dollar earned, every dollar spent.
Okay.
Use a journal, a spreadsheet, a budgeting app, whatever works for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to track everything.
So it's just about like having that visual representation of what's coming in, what's coming out.
Exactly.
Once you have a grip on like the income and the expenses, what's the next step?
Well, then you analyze your spending.
Right.
And you look for patterns, where are you bleeding money?
Right.
Without even realizing it.
Yeah. Are you like overspending on certain categories?
Exactly. Yeah. Or, maybe those little subscriptions add up.
Oh, yeah.
You don't realize it, but you've got, 10 different subscriptions.
Yeah.
That's $100 a month.
Okay. So we've identified like our spending leaks.
Right.
How do we start plugging them without feeling like we're depriving ourselves?
Small adjustments can make a big difference. Review those subscriptions. Do you really need all of them?
Yep.
Can you negotiate a better rate on your internet, your phone, your insurance?
Yeah.
There's a lot of little things you can do.
What about for traders specifically?
Well, for traders, they should really look at platform fees.
Okay.
Are you paying for multiple platforms? Could you consolidate, save some money there?
Right.
And the other thing is overtrading.
Oh, interesting.
Every time you make a trade, it costs you money in commissions and fees.
Right.
And so if you're overtrading, you're eating into your profits.
So it's really about like being strategic and thoughtful with every move you make.
Absolutely.
Okay. The book also talks about automation as like this game changer.
Yes.
Why is it so important?
Especially when you have, inconsistent income.
Okay.
Automation really is the key to consistency. It's about embracing this idea of pay yourself first, which means you're setting aside money for savings and investments before you even think about spending on anything else.
So you're like flipping the script on how we normally save, where it's like whatever's left over at the end of the month, that's my savings.
Right. Yeah. You're making saving a priority.
Right.
Not an afterthought.
Yeah. And how do we like put that into practice, like building a system that actually does that?
Well, first of all, you want to have separate accounts for different purposes. So emergency fund, lifestyle savings, investment account.
Okay.
Keep those things separate.
That makes it easier.
Exactly. Yeah. Keeps things clear.
Okay. And then, like, how do we actually automate the saving process?
Technology is your friend here.
Okay.
Most banks allow automatic transfers to savings accounts. Yeah. Some brokerage firms let you transfer a portion of your profits.
Oh, interesting.
After every trade. So there's a lot of different things you can do.
So it's really about, like, harnessing the power of technology to make this easier for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. We've talked about automation for, like, saving.
Right.
But what about the spending part?
Okay.
A lot of people, I think, myself included, like, don't love the idea of a budget.
I know. It's a scary word, budget.
Yeah, it is.
But think of it like a framework.
Okay.
Like a roadmap to help you reach your goals without feeling constrained.
So it's more about, like, smart guidelines than like tracking every single penny.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we create a budget that doesn't feel restrictive?
I like the framework this book uses. It has 4 categories. Essentials.
Okay.
Lifestyle, savings and investments, and growth.
And so essentials, that would be things like?
Like your housing.
Yeah.
Utilities, groceries,
Well,
stuff you got to pay no matter what.
What falls into that lifestyle category?
That's, the fun stuff, dining out, travel, entertainment, the things you enjoy.
Yeah. And then savings and investments. We talked about that.
Right.
What about growth? What falls under that?
Growth is anything that enhances your skills.
Okay.
Or your earning potential.
So for traders, that could be like?
It could be a trading course.
Yeah.
New software, attending a conference.
So it's almost like investing in yourself.
Exactly.
As an asset.
Okay. Once you have those 4 categories, how do you actually figure out, like, what percentage?
Right. Well, this book actually suggests a modified version of the 50-30-20 rule.
Okay.
So instead of 50 needs, 30 wants, 20 savings, it's more like 50 for essentials, 20 for lifestyle, and a big 30 for savings and investments.
Okay, so we're really committing to that.
Yeah.
To the future there.
It is. But, the more you save,
right,
the more you invest,
the more you're setting yourself up.
The more you're setting yourself up for that future you want.
Right, absolutely.
You don't have to hit 30% right away.
Of course, yeah.
But it's something to work toward. Okay, start small.
Exactly.
Okay, so beyond cash flow, automation and budgeting, are there other, like, I don't know, hacks that we can use to kind of amplify our savings?
Absolutely. The book has a whole section on saving smart, not hard. Okay. One of the things they talk about is the 80-20 rule for spending.
Okay.
Which is the idea that 20% of your expenses account for 80% of what you spend.
Okay.
So if you identify that 20% and make adjustments there, it can make a big difference.
So instead of, like, obsessing over every little thing.
Exactly.
It's really about looking at those key areas where you're spending the most.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. What are some examples of those one-time decisions that?
Oh, well, renegotiating bills is a big one,
Yeah, like your internet, your phone.
Exactly. Call them up, ask for a better rate.
Right.
A lot of times they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Refinancing debt.
Okay.
Especially your mortgage or student loans. Yeah. That can save you thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Over the life of the loan.
It's really about being proactive and taking control.
Yes.
What are some, like, small, like, low-effort strategies that we could do?
Well, leverage reward programs.
Okay.
Analyze your subscriptions. Cut the ones you don't need.
Right.
Shop strategically for major purchases.
Okay.
And be creative,
Like, what do you mean?
Can you cook more meals at home?
Yeah.
Explore free entertainment options.
Right.
There's always something.
It's just about being resourceful.
Exactly.
Yeah. I want to touch on something that we mentioned earlier about, like, this unique advantage that traders and investors have.
Yes.
How can we, like, harness our expertise to, like, amplify our savings?
That's a great question. And this book actually lays out a profit allocation plan for traders.
Okay. How does that work?
It's actually similar to the 50-30-20 rule,
Yep.
but instead of applying it to your income,
Yeah.
you apply it to your trading profits.
Yes.
Okay. So 50% of your profits you reinvest back into your trading.
Right.
30% goes to savings.
Yep.
And 20% you can spend guilt-free.
Okay, so it's like it's creating this cycle where your success in the markets fuels your financial security, which allows you to then
Exactly.
it all feeds into each other.
Absolutely. And disciplined trading habits, I think, play a crucial role there, too.
Absolutely.
How does that play into it?
Well, every time you avoid a loss
Yeah.
by sticking to your trading plan, that's money saved.
Right.
Right.
It's like risk management is saving in itself.
It is.
Yeah. Are there specific investment strategies that we can use to amplify our savings goals?
You know, passive income is a game changer.
Okay.
Because it's money working for you.
Right.
Even when you're not actively trading.
Yeah. What are some examples of passive income?
Well, dividend stocks.
Okay.
They pay you dividends regularly.
Right.
REITs, real estate investment trusts.
Okay. They invest in income-producing real estate.
Yeah.
And they tend to have higher dividends than stocks.
So we're essentially creating multiple streams of income.
Exactly.
That are then feeding our savings goal.
Exactly. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. We've talked about traditional banking and brokerage tools, but how does technology play a role?
Oh, technology's huge.
Okay.
There's so much you can do these days.
What are some examples of those banking tools?
Well, a lot of banks offer roundup savings, where every purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the difference goes into your savings.
Interesting.
And those little bits add up.
Right.
High-yield savings accounts.
Okay.
They give you a better interest rate.
So that's a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about budgeting apps?
Oh, there's so many.
There's tons out there.
Tons, yeah.
Yeah. How do we choose the right one?
Well, it depends what you're looking for. Y&A, you need a budget.
Okay.
Is great for people who really want to be intentional
Yeah.
about where their money goes.
Right.
Mint offers real-time tracking
Okay.
and personalized insights.
Okay.
If you're new to investing, Acorns is a good one.
Okay.
It does micro-investing.
Okay.
So it rounds up your purchases
Yeah.
and invests the spare change.
Interesting.
It'd be a great way to get started.
Yeah. So there's something out there for everybody.
Absolutely.
If you want a bigger picture, a broader overview of your finances, what do you recommend?
Personal Capital is excellent.
Okay.
It gives you a complete picture
Okay.
of your net worth, your savings, your investments.
So it's pulling everything into one place.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about taxes.
All right.
How do we approach taxes strategically to protect our savings and investments?
Taxes are a fact of life.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be afraid of them.
Okay.
The key is to be proactive and understand how they impact your decisions.
Okay.
One important concept, especially for traders and investors, is capital gains.
Right.
Could you explain that for anyone who might not know?
Yeah, so when you sell an investment for a profit, that's a capital gain.
Okay.
And the tax rate depends on how long you've held the asset.
Okay.
So short-term gains from assets held less than a year are taxed at your ordinary income tax rate, which could be quite high.
Right.
But long-term gains from assets held longer than a year are taxed at a lower rate.
So it literally pays to be patient.
It does. It does.
Yeah. Okay. Besides holding our investments for the long term, are there other ways to reduce our tax burden?
Yeah, tax loss harvesting is a great strategy that involves selling losing investments to offset gains from winning investments.
Okay.
So you're basically using those losses to reduce your overall tax liability. Okay, and what about those tax-advantaged accounts?
Oh, those are great. 401k, Roth IRAs, they offer a lot of benefits.
Like what?
Well, with a 401k, your contributions are pre-tax.
Okay.
So you reduce your taxable income now.
Okay.
And the money grows tax-deferred until retirement.
Right.
A Roth IRA offers tax-free withdrawals in retirement.
Okay. And there's also HSAs?
Yes.
Health savings accounts?
Health savings accounts, they have a triple tax advantage.
Triple tax advantage. Okay. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Contributions are tax deductible.
Okay.
The money grows tax-free. And withdrawals for medical expenses are also tax-free.
Wow.
It's a great deal.
It is, I think sometimes this can feel kind of overwhelming.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah, it can be.
What's your advice?
Talk to a tax professional. They can help you make sense of it all.
So it's an investment that could potentially save you a lot of money?
Headaches in the long run.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to something that I think is really interesting, this idea of the psychology of money.
Okay.
I think it's often overlooked, but like our mindset plays such a crucial role
Absolutely
in our financial success.
It does.
So it's not just about the numbers and spreadsheets.
Right.
It's really about like how we think about money.
Exactly.
Yeah, what are some of those psychological barriers that prevent people from saving?
Well, instant gratification is a big one.
Okay.
Our culture really prioritizes, immediate satisfaction.
Right.
And that makes it hard to delay gratification for long-term goals.
Yeah, and I think in trading especially, it's like,
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone wants to make those quick profits.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very tempting.
How do we overcome that? Visualization is a great tool.
Okay.
Imagine yourself achieving those goals.
Okay.
Feel the freedom, the security.
That makes sense. Like really connect with your why.
Yes.
Your financial why.
What are some other pitfalls that we should be aware of?
FOMO,
fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. Social media constantly shows us these perfect lives, these perfect bodies.
Right.
And it creates this pressure to keep up.
Yeah.
Which can lead to overspending.
Okay, so how do we bring free from that comparison trap?
Cultivate gratitude.
Okay.
Appreciate what you already have.
Right.
Your health, your relationships, your experiences.
So really shift that focus from what you lack to what you have.
Exactly.
Yeah. Are there any other limiting beliefs that might hold us back?
The scarcity mentality.
Okay.
The belief that there's never enough money.
Yeah.
That can create a lot of anxiety.
Right.
But the truth is, abundance is available to everyone.
Okay, so how do we shift from that scarcity mindset to abundance?
Focus on what you can control.
Okay.
You can't control the economy.
Right.
You can't control the market.
Right.
But you can control your spending, your saving, your investing habits.
So it's really about focusing on those small micro decisions.
Yes.
And challenging those negative thoughts.
Yeah, are those thoughts really serving you?
Exactly.
Or are they holding you back?
Right.
So understanding our relationship with money is a good first step.
Yes.
But how do we develop a mindset that actually supports our savings goals?
It starts with understanding your money personality.
Okay.
Are you a natural spender?
Okay.
Or a natural saver?
And by knowing which one you are,
right,
you can then kind of tailor your strategy.
Exactly.
Okay. What are some ways for both?
Well, for spenders, automation can be really helpful.
Okay.
Automatic transfers, budgeting apps, things that make saving effortless.
Right.
For savers, they might need to challenge themselves to invest more or take some calculated risks, to really grow their wealth.
Yeah.
So for savers, it's don't be afraid to take those calculated risks.
Exactly.
So it's about finding that balance for each individual.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's such a good point. Money is a tool.
It is.
To create the life you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's not something to be feared or hoarded.
Right.
It's really about how do you use it intentionally?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Beyond knowing our money personality.
Right.
What are some other strategies to cultivate that money saving mindset?
It's important to have a long-term perspective instead of focusing on instant gratification.
Yeah.
Visualize yourself in the future, enjoying the fruits of your savings.
Okay.
Break those big goals down into smaller milestones to stay motivated.
So those small wins along the way.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned habits.
Oh, yeah.
How do we make saving a habit?
Start small.
Okay.
Make it automatic. Don't try to overhaul everything at once.
Right.
Just set up a small automatic transfer to your savings each month.
Right.
And then gradually increase it.
So baby steps.
Exactly.
Okay.
And another thing is habit anchoring.
Oh, okay. What's that?
So you tie a new habit to an existing routine.
Okay.
So for example, every time you get paid, you transfer money to savings.
Right.
Or every Sunday night, you review your budget.
Okay, so you're piggybacking on an existing routine.
Exactly.
So it's more likely to stick.
Exactly.
And it's also important, I think, to reward ourselves
Yes.
for those good habits. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Celebrate those wins, no matter how small.
What are some ways that we could celebrate?
I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah.
A nice meal, a book. Just take a moment to appreciate your progress.
Right.
It's not all about deprivation.
Right. So find that balance.
Yes.
Between the discipline and then also the enjoyment.
Exactly.
The book also talks about redefining success and happiness.
Yeah.
What does that look like in terms of money?
True fulfillment comes from experiences and relationships, not from things.
Okay.
Shift your focus from things to experiences.
Okay, because those are the things that are going to...
Those are the things that last.
Stay with you, right?
Exactly.
Okay, and I think visualization and affirmations also play a big role.
Absolutely.
In this positive money mindset.
They do.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, when you visualize your ideal future, you're activating your subconscious mind.
Okay.
And you're attracting those goals into reality.
Right.
And affirmations are positive statements that reprogram your thoughts and beliefs.
So it's really about, retraining your brain.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and the book also talks about emotional resilience.
Yes.
Especially for traders and investors.
Absolutely.
Why is that so important?
Well, trading can be a very emotional roller coaster. Yeah.
Right. And all those emotions, the fear, the greed, the excitement, the disappointment, they can lead to impulsive decisions that sabotage your strategy.
Yeah, so emotional resilience is about being able to stay grounded.
Yes.
Even amidst all the ups and downs.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, so how do we actually develop that?
Detach from outcomes.
Okay.
You can't control what the market does.
Right.
But you can control how you react.
Okay.
Focus on the process, not the results.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. Mistakes are how we learn.
Right.
So embrace them.
So view them as learning opportunities rather than failures.
Exactly.
Yeah. What are some other techniques that we can use to build that resilience?
Create rules for yourself, like guardrails, to prevent emotional decisions. For example, you might have a rule that you never risk more than 1% of your account on a single trade. Or you always save 20% of your income before you spend anything.
Yeah.
Having those rules in place really helps.
Yeah, it's almost like
a safety net.
Yeah, a safety net or like those bumpers when you go bowling.
Exactly.
It keeps you from going in the gutter.
Exactly.
Yeah. Are there any fun ways to make the saving process more enjoyable?
Gamify it.
Okay.
Turn it into a game. Host speaker. Welcome back to the Profitable Mindset Podcast. Let's dive into turning your savings into, lasting financial freedom.
Yeah, because saving's great.
Right.
But it's really about what you do with those savings, right?
Exactly. It's not just about a rainy day fund.
Right.
It's about building a life where money isn't a source of stress.
Yeah.
Where you have the freedom to pursue your passions.
Right. And I think for a lot of people, that means achieving financial freedom.
Absolutely.
Whatever that looks like for them.
Yeah.
And the journey often begins with this concept of compound growth, which I think a lot of people have heard of.
Yeah.
But they might not fully grasp why it's so powerful.
Right.
Can you just break down why it's so essential for building real wealth?
Yeah. So imagine it like a snowball effect for your money. Okay. Instead of just earning a fixed return on your initial investment, you're earning returns on your principal, plus the accumulated interest or gains.
Okay.
So your money's making money.
Right.
And then that money's making even more money.
Okay.
And that's where the real magic happens.
So it really does snowball into something much bigger.
Exactly.
Over time, yeah.
And the earlier you start, the more powerful that effect becomes.
Okay, so how do we harness that power?
Well, one of the most effective ways is to reinvest your earnings.
Okay.
So instead of spending all the profits from your investments or your trading wins, you take a portion of those earnings and you put them right back into your portfolio. Okay. And that allows that power of compounding to really kick in.
It's like, I don't know, it's like planting a seed and letting it grow into a tree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I think that's encouraging for people who might feel intimidated by the idea of building wealth.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a ton of money.
Absolutely not.
To get started, it's really about
small steps.
those small consistent actions. Yeah.
Consistency is key.
Yeah. Are there any strategies that can like amplify those benefits?
Yeah. Another thing you can do is build multiple streams of passive income.
Oh, passive income. That's the dream.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's money working for you.
Right.
Even when you're not actively working.
Yeah. Can you remind us like why it's so important and like what are some ways to build those streams?
Sure. So passive income gives you freedom and flexibility.
Okay.
It's not directly tied to your time or your labor. And, we talked about some examples earlier. Dividend stocks.
Yeah.
Real estate investments like rental properties or REITs,
Okay.
bond ladders. These are all ways to create a consistent stream of income that can really enhance your financial security.
And what I love about it is you can reinvest those earnings back into your portfolio.
Absolutely.
So it's just like keeps building on itself.
Yeah, it's like a self-fueling engine.
Yeah, and it creates like a sense of security, like a safety net, right?
Absolutely.
Like if, you lose your job or if the market takes a downturn, you have something to fall back on.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're diversifying our income streams.
Right.
But what about diversifying our investments themselves?
Diversification is absolutely crucial.
Right.
Both in the types of investments you hold and how those investments are spread out.
Okay, so like don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Yeah, how do we diversify effectively?
So you want to diversify across different asset classes like stocks, bonds, real estate.
Okay.
Even alternative investments like, private equity or venture capital.
Okay.
You want to think about geographic diversification.
Okay.
Investing in different countries, different regions.
So we're not just limited to like the U.S. market.
Right, right. And you also want to think about sector diversification, spreading your investments across different industries.
Okay. So we're really like hedging our bets in a way.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Okay. So we've got diversification. We've got compound growth.
Right.
Are there any pitfalls that we should be aware of?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big ones is lifestyle inflation.
Lifestyle inflation.
Yeah.
That's when our spending increases as our income increases.
Exactly. We get a raise and suddenly we need a bigger house, a nicer car.
Yeah.
Fancier vacations.
It's so easy to fall into that trap. Yeah. What's another pitfall?
Another one is emotional investing.
Emotional investing.
Making decisions based on fear, greed, excitement.
Yeah.
Instead of logic.
Instead of like a well-defined strategy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can you give us some examples of how emotions can like lead us astray?
Sure. So imagine the market's crashing.
Okay.
And you panic.
Yeah.
You sell all your investments.
Yeah.
Even though it goes against your long-term plan. That's an emotional decision.
And it could end up costing you a lot of money in the long run.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we avoid that?
You got to have a plan.
Okay.
A well-defined strategy.
Okay.
You stick to no matter what.
No matter what, even when things are.
Even when you're feeling emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. And the market's,
right.
We're crazy.
Exactly.
So take the emotion out of it.
Yes.
Okay. What else can we do to stay on track to navigate those roadblocks?
Well, we talked about tax-advantaged accounts. Those are crucial.
The 401ks, the Roth IRAs.
Yes.
Wow.
Those can really supercharge your wealth-building journey.
It's like giving your money a head start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're maximizing every dollar.
Yeah. Are there any other techniques to like stay focused on the goal and measure our progress?
Yeah. Set clear milestones.
Okay.
And track your progress.
Okay.
So instead of having this vague idea of financial freedom, break it down into specific, measurable, achievable goals.
So like, give me an example.
Well, it could be saving a certain amount of money.
Okay.
Paying off a particular debt.
Okay.
Reaching a certain level of passive income.
Right.
Whatever it is for you.
And those little milestones then give you a sense of accomplishment.
Exactly. And they keep you motivated.
Yeah, because you're seeing progress.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that this is a marathon.
Yes.
Not a sprint.
It is.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we forget that and we
we
want things to happen overnight. Yeah. What are some strategies for staying disciplined?
Well, remember that market swings are normal.
Yeah.
They don't negate your long-term strategy.
Right.
So stick to your plan. Weather the storms.
Yeah. And don't panic.
Don't panic.
Yeah.
Remember why you started.
Yeah. It's like a captain of a ship, right?
Exactly.
They don't abandon ship at the first sign of a storm.
Right.
They weather it out.
They stay the course.
Yeah.
And you can too.
We've talked about, being disciplined, but I think it's important to celebrate those wins too.
Absolutely.
Why is that so important?
Because it reinforces those positive habits.
Okay.
And it keeps you motivated.
Okay.
It's important to acknowledge your hard work and your progress.
What are some ways that people can celebrate those wins?
It could be anything you enjoy.
Yeah.
A nice meal.
Yeah.
A new book.
Right.
Just take a moment to appreciate how far you've come.
Yeah, it's about savoring the journey, not just the destination.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the book also talks about giving back.
Yes.
Once you've reached a certain level of financial security.
Absolutely.
Why is giving back so important?
Because it's a way to share your abundance.
Okay.
Make a positive impact on the world.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be about, huge donations.
Right.
It could be volunteering your time.
Right.
Sharing your skills.
Yeah.
Just being kind and generous.
So it's recognizing that the true wealth goes beyond just your own.
Exactly. It's about making a difference.
Yeah, and it creates that ripple effect.
It does.
Yeah, the book also encourages us to think about our legacy.
Yes.
Like what we want to leave behind.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's about creating something that outlives you.
Right.
Making a meaningful contribution to the world.
So it could be like passing on your knowledge to your kids or
absolutely
starting a foundation. Or just, I don't know, living a life that inspires others.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about leaving your mark on the world.
And finally, the book talks about reflection.
Yes.
Why is reflection so important in this journey?
Because it allows you to step back.
Okay.
Gain perspective.
Yeah.
Appreciate how far you've come.
Okay.
Learn from your mistakes.
Right.
Celebrate your successes.
Right.
Take some time to journal, meditate.
Yeah.
Just reflect on what you've learned.
Yeah.
What you're grateful for.
It's about taking stock of your progress, both the financial
yes.
and the personal.
Absolutely.
I think we've covered so much ground.
We have.
In this segment.
We have.
It's amazing how many aspects there are to building a solid foundation.
It is.
Should we do a quick recap?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we explored the power of compound growth.
Right.
We talked about diversifying our income streams and investments.
Yes.
We talked about avoiding those pitfalls, like
lifestyle inflation, emotional
investing. And we talked about like how to strategically use those tax advantaged accounts to our advantage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think we also touched on something much deeper.
We did.
That importance of having a positive mindset.
Yes.
Celebrating our wins.
Absolutely.
Giving back.
Yeah.
Building a legacy. And taking the time for reflection.
All those things are important.
I think that really beautifully captures the essence of this conversation.
It does.
Yeah, we've covered a lot. But there's one more crucial piece.
Okay.
Which is, how do we maintain that momentum?
Right.
Like, how do we stay motivated and deal with the challenges?
Right.
So we're going to get into that in our next segment.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Profitable Mindset Podcast. We've covered a lot of ground talking about saving, investing, and even some of those unique advantages we have as traders.
Right.
But let's talk about, like, the long game.
Okay.
Like, how do we maintain momentum, stay motivated?
Right.
Especially when, things get challenging, there are going to be roadblocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we get through that?
Well, one of the most powerful things you can do is to build a system that makes saving and spending and investing feel like a natural part of your routine.
Okay, so almost like it's on autopilot.
Exactly.
And that's where automation comes in.
Yes.
Which we talked about earlier, but how do we actually build that system?
Well, automate as much as you can.
Okay.
We talked about automating transfers to your savings and investment accounts.
Right.
But you can also automate your bill payments, debt repayments, even contributions to your brokerage account.
Right.
Take the decision fatigue out of it.
So you don't have to think about it.
Exactly.
Okay, what else can we do to keep that momentum going?
Visualization is a powerful tool.
Okay.
We talked about it briefly before, but it's worth revisiting.
Yeah.
Take a few minutes each day to visualize yourself achieving your goals.
Okay.
Feel the emotions, experience the freedom and the possibilities.
Right.
It'll keep you motivated.
Okay, and remind you why you're doing all this.
Exactly.
Yeah. What else?
Don't forget to set milestones and celebrate those wins along the way.
Celebrating is so important.
It is.
It really is, yeah.
Break those big goals down into smaller steps.
Yeah.
Each time you hit a milestone, acknowledge your progress.
Right.
Celebrate.
Yeah, so it's not just about like the end goal.
No.
It's about enjoying those small wins along the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It keeps you going.
Okay, what else can we do?
Create a supportive environment for yourself.
Okay.
Surround yourself with people who share your values, who support your goals.
Yeah.
Find communities or online forums where you can connect with like-minded individuals.
So it's about like curating your circle.
Exactly. Exactly.
What about when you're feeling discouraged?
Yeah, we all have those moments.
We all do, right?
We all do.
Like, what's your advice for dealing with those setbacks?
Well, remember that setbacks are normal. Everyone experiences them. It's not about avoiding them.
Yeah.
It's about how you respond to them.
Oh.
So when you encounter a challenge, view it as an opportunity to learn, to grow.
So it's like reframing that failure as a learning experience.
Exactly.
Okay.
Ask yourself what you can learn from it.
Yeah.
How you can adjust your strategy.
Right.
And be kind to yourself.
It's so important, yeah.
It is. Financial goals are a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
You're going to stumble. You're going to need to adjust your pace.
Yeah.
The important thing is to get back up.
Right.
And keep moving forward.
And don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
And remember why you started.
Yeah, connect with that why.
Yes.
Okay, I think we've covered so much ground in this episode.
We have.
If you could just leave our listeners with like one message, what would it be?
Financial freedom is not a distant dream. It's attainable for anyone who's willing to put in the effort, develop those healthy habits,
and cultivate a mindset of abundance.
It's not just about the money. It's about the freedom.
Exactly.
To design the life you want.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
On this episode of the Profitable Mindset Podcast.
It's been great.
We hope this conversation has empowered you to take control of your finances and create a life that you truly love.
Absolutely.
And remember, keep those profits flowing and those savings growing.